Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining our monthly commercial seminar. My name is Jenny Ching. I'm from KW Commercial, and I am also your 2022 Education Committee Chair. Today, I'm very happy that we're able to invite Howard Ting to talk about, commercial investment properties. A few housekeeping items before we begin. All participants will be muted during the meeting, so please use the chat box for questions and the speaker will answer them during the Q&A session. This session will be recorded and the video will be available on our YouTube channel, WSGBR TV. So next, we're gonna have Cecilia introduce our speaker and the topic today. Cecilia.
Yes. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is Cecilia, one of Co-op Banker George Realty in Alhambra. Today for our commercial seminar, the topic is how can the agency develop more and better commercial investment properties? During the presentation, you will learn how to evaluate the commercial property before presenting to sellers or buyers and know the commercial real estate terms. Today, our special speaker is Howard Ting. He is Senior Vice President of YK America Group. YK America Group is a commercial real estate developer, co-founder of Pacific Anchor Holding. Mr. Ting has a degree in business and international commercial from California State University, Los Angeles, and over 25 years of experience in commercial property development. He is an expert in marketing and commercial negotiation, is often invited by professional real estate organizations, college, and private enterprises to deliver speeches. Let's have a warm applause. Welcome, Howard. Howard, here is your time. Take it away, please. Howard?
Yes, how are you guys? Okay, very good. And actually, I'm in my office right now, and I hope everybody is healthier, happier, wealthier. So for this afternoon, actually the noon time, first I appreciate the Western Gable as the Valley Realtor Association to invite me to talk a little bit about, have some challenge about this seminar regarding the agent or the broker to deal with the what we call the commercial real estate. So first I want to say hello and say thanks, and secondly, just wanted to encourage and disencourage you to do this commercial real estate. Due to the pandemic and there's so many different what we call the factors or elements, interest rates, and people lost a job, so many things. But fortunately and unfortunately, the commercial real estate will depend on the category. Some is very good, some is not that good. So go back to 2 years ago, I've been invited for the seminar. I've been doing some little bit. I'm not a fortune teller. I don't have a crystal ball. But based on my past experience for 20 some years, close to 30 years, be a developer, my company, we wear different hats and we play a different role. So based upon those experience, we've been going through the different cycle. So we're getting to learn how to face the reality to deal with the good time or the bad time. Right now, the real estate for the residential, most of the people know they are in the real estate, what we call the residential real estate brokers or agents. For you guys, it will be kind of easy to deal with that because you do have your broker and you do have your like a escrow company, title insurance, and the loan office. They can help you anyhow anyway. So the average case open that you might have 80% to 90% to close the deal. But for the commercial real estate, unfortunately, it's
sorry, Howard, to interrupt you. Do you have a PowerPoint you want to share?
Oh, okay, sure. Why don't we do that? Okay. Great. Okay. So yeah, I just to start it, but I still encourage people to learn, at least never too late to learn the commercial real estate. For the commercial real estate, I have to basically, I got to go over some very basic, tell you guys what's happening in today's world. Yeah, because we are developer, we have looking for the project for next 5, 10, even 15, 20 years down the road. So, but we got looking back. So people thinking commercial real estate is horrible or the worst. Not really. So the commercial real estate, the market, they are not only bounced back, they actually doing very well on the 2021. Commercial property, they can sell like $809 billion in 2021. And that's for for this industry. So like the sales for 2020 is less. So we can imagine 2021 is a good year. Maybe this year will be even better. I don't have exactly numbers to share, but I do know it's picking up. And the real estate for the residential, they go a little bit slow on this side during the pandemic. I say it should be good, but unfortunately the interest increase 3 points and another 3 points, so getting slower. But commercial real estate is picking up right now. Okay, so why don't we familiar with some company they doing, what's the major player in our industry? I only talking about agency, brokerage firm. So when you know the name, like you are the residential agent or broker, you deal with those people. How do you deal with them? At least you know what's their rank. How big are they? What's the name? How much they've been done? Even they have how many employees they have. Okay, so we have the 2022, but when I say 2022, let's have to back a year. Right now, this year, the record, we only have probably a little bit past the middle of the year. So we're talking about 2021, that's a 2020, like a CBRE, the Cushman and the Wicksfield, or Newmark, Collier, Lee and Associate, or the NAI, or to like a Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, that's actually. So at least you got to know the name of those that you are dealing with. Either you play as the buyer side or seller side. Sooner or later, you've been facing those, what we call the major agency in the whole United States, maybe in the world. So that's the rank they show. So you can see they have maybe 10,000 people, they do the business, and that they're doing like almost close to a few $100 million the business. And that's what we call the evidence or the numbers you can see from here. So that's really I don't say your competitor, but I will say you have to work with that. And the mainstream agent and anchors, the brokers, when they do the commercial, I don't say they don't like you if you are the residential agent or the brokers. They don't want to waste their time, because if you don't know how to, in this industry, how to say, how to understand, how to learn, how to talk with them in the same language, they don't even waste time to talk to you. So that's a problem, okay? And that they're not going to have time to teach you and to have go through the whole process. So you got to go back to your broker or in-house brokers or your company like attorney, the lawyers, they can give you advice on those projects. Okay, when the commercial real estate, my understanding, let's say if I play a buyer, or you're going to present a OM, we call offering memorandum to the seller. How do you describe what's a commercial real estate? That's my knowledge. Okay, it's not represent for everybody. If I do this case, if I be a seller or buyer's rep, or I'm the developer, first I will ask him, are they good location? They might be great location, but we just say the good location. Location, location, location. Okay, that's always be the number one. And secondly, if you are place safe, or is it the safe and the secure projects with the income? Okay, now we come to the commercial real estate, income. If the commercial real estate without income, Nah, we don't really say that's a commercial real estate. Yeah, just like a land, they won't produce a value until you prove it, until you build it. I will put on the very last, talk about a little bit about the land. I will be touched that part. And they could inherit. You know, most mentality, especially like Asian mentality, they wanted to pass to their son, to their grandson, generation to generation. If this commercial real estate, like a house, they bought a house, so they can pass it along. Same as the commercial real estate, they can pass on to their next generation. And then number 4, anti-inflation. Unfortunately, again, inflation is like what, the record high. Right now, we're looking about 8.7 to 8.9, maybe over 9%. I haven't seen that numbers for a long time, for probably say a few decades already. But we have to face it. So at least your project or your property or your listing, or you're going to buy, they might compensate some of the anti-inflation because they will be go down, will be go up, or the recession, we don't know. But we have to take this numbers, say at least they can do anti-inflation. Okay. For us, developer, we're looking into the project. Priority, not only location, not only what we talk about before. Very, very important. You have to remember that even the buyer, not really seller, buyer well. If they are ready, willing, able to go for this property you present, you have to tell them, say, when you purchase this property, we call afterwards, because you're going to keep the relationship with this group, this person, he or she. So the property with upside always be great. We call the value added. Value added. Why? You are not only satisfied with your currently the income or current situation, you're always thinking further. I don't say outside the box, but we're thinking for maybe a few years down the road, then you will say this one with upside. Like we purchase anything, if they don't have upside, they will be secondary, not our primary. Okay, so when you dealing, just saying, I have to say again, because you are wanted to deal with the seller and the buyer, especially the buyer. How do you can tell that this one is a good property, you should go get it? If you cannot say any reason or how, why, only thing you cannot say just when, because you never know. It depends on the markets. So we always very conservatively to talking about the project. Remember, you have to under promise, over delivery, not over promise, under delivery. That's I always say that in any occasion. So they will trust you. You be a trustworthy person, so they can depend on you to buy the property, to sell the property. Yeah, I believe you guys know that in the residential part. But commercial is a little bit different because commercial, I have to say that is BS walks, number talks. We got to face this reality. Mostly it's the numbers. If you with a good income, you got a good properties, yes, and a good tenant. Okay, let's go to next. People ask me, Howard, what's the commercial real estate? If you go to like a Google, your website, I mean, you go find it out. Basically, it will be the top 4: office, retail, industrial, multifamily. Then we got hospitality, go to hotel, and the land. So most of commercial realty on those above the 4, they always have the income. But hotel, yes, they do have the income, but we always treat like a business, how to run that, how to do management instead of only real estate. And the land, you're sitting there for 100 years, they might increase the value, some even decrease the value. That's see how you to be how to develop that. So we are developer, we knowing that. Okay, the infrastructure is more than everything important. I will get into that. So now you have to remember, if you don't know what's a commercial real estate, please remember at least the office, retail, industrial, multifamily, that's top category plus hotel land. Then you might ask me, what about something else? Okay, like if you want to do like a The theaters or the small shops, they will be the like a retail or the mixed use. They might combine with that. So basically, it will be this four. And they ask me, Howard, how do I can get into this business and find somebody I can go for the numbers or go for the like you do the residential, you do the comparison, market compare. How do we can do that? Yes, they do have helpful website for residential people. Everybody knows you go to Redfin, you go to the Zillow, you go to Realtor.com, you go to even like a Remax too. Then you can easy to find who's the agent, who's this and who's that. Even they will show how much commission you can split. But on the commercial side, not really. But they do go give you more detailedly on those the properties, but it won't give you that much. But basically it will be covered. Some you have to pay very high price. So some real estate company, they do commercial, they need to have the CoStar. That's a tool. Okay, and then you can go to the CoStar, but it's a limit to the members. So instead of that, why don't I go to the LoopNet? If it's not a premium, the clients, we can go that. It will be easier. Okay, so okay, then you can go the different way. Even you want to looking for the apartments, you can go apartments.com. Then you can at least you can start with that to know what's happening in today's world in the market. They can limit to your neighborhood. Okay, it's very helpful. Very helpful. You have to remember that. Now we're getting into the first one, and the people hesitate, a little bit difficult and headache with the retail because online shopping. Offline is getting shrunk. They shrunk a lot. So we have to do the shopping center like we are the retail shopping center developer too. So we more toward to the necessity goods, not for shopping. We have to people come to buy and they come to eat, come to entertain, instead just a shopping, window shopping. We don't do that. Okay, for the retail shopping center, you have to aware of. Basically, okay, those are our tenants. So because I have, for example, and the picture have the patent rights. If you're using their pictures on the website, you might, I say it's probably illegally. Those pictures that we took from their side at our shopping center, there will be no patent rights. Okay, if you just draw that or drew that on the website, you got to be aware of that. Okay, if somebody give you the trouble, like Walmart or the Bank of America, Starbucks, McDonald's, Subway, even we have some Asian food called the Panda Express. Okay, they want 45 years on our property because they are looking for that. Commercial real estate, you need to know. Why I say put the need to know. So your agent, please, you have to remember that. At least top 5. If you're dealing with those the shopping center buyer, seller, or the mainstream, what we call the broker or agent, if you don't know how to ask, you say, how much? They say, they don't want to talk to you. As how much is based on what's the term of that. First one is NOI. So the NOI will be live with you in your mind, in your brain forever. If you want to do the commercial, that's the first word I learned in the commercial real estate. What's the NOI? Net operating income. I will go through the detail because you have to understand this. Then when you're asking, you talk that much, you've been explained, and then, oh, how good the property, the seller will be saying, I don't say exaggerate or carry away. You should tell them and say, hey, cut to the chase. Tell me what's the NOI. All the people say, you guys really know something. Is that triple net? How much will the can charge common area maintenance? Okay. And okay, show me the rent roll, the tenant rent roll. Okay. Now you're on the right track. People start wanting to talk to you. Okay, because shopping center is different than other, not residential, the other commercial real estate, because of lessee or what we call tenant who pay the rent to rent your property they pay that. They pay what? They pay everything. What do we call? Common area maintenance, tax, insurance. So we call the triple net. So they got a different. And what's a rent roll? Rent roll, that's mean every single tenant, how much they pay, how long they're going to stay, what's the term, any condition, contingency in the rent roll. But basically, I have to clarify that again. If you are new in the market, if you're asking for the rent roll, that's a little bit impolite because rent roll is a confidential in between the landlord and the tenant. They cannot release until you sign some papers or you show your letter of intent with a proof of the fund or you sign a non-disclosure NDA agreement, they might release that. Okay, so the step will be asking to show you, not say show off, to showing you I know this property. Okay, why don't I get you proof of the fund? And I write the NDA or I'll give you a letter of intent. Would you provide me very politely asking the tenant rent roll sheets? You can study that. What's the length of the rental leasing period? Then you can decide what's the property and all expenses. You come up with the NOI. And the last step is the city, county, the plan department can prove this shopping center be a mixed use. What's the mixed use? I will explain that. The residential apartment and commercial. If you check it with a seller, say it can be, but before you do that, you got to do some homework. You got to do the diligent work. Go to the city, go to the county, talk to the planning department. Say again, planning department, you will get all the answers. And the buyer and seller will be appreciated because you've done your homework, done your study, talking to the people in the city. You can just walk in. You don't need to maybe sometimes you need to make an appointment to chat with them. Get more information, how high it can be. What's the parking ratio? It's very detailedly. You write it down, you come back, do some study, and present to the seller or to the buyer. So that's the homework. It's not compare the market. You got to compare this particular land. That's it. Maybe neighborhood is important, but this land, how much they can receive, how much they want to pay, I think the buyer will be mostly interested in that. Then we go to the NOI. You have to remember this net operating income. What's the net? Because the net, that's mean tenant, they pay everything. So you have this number, because this number, like the people telling me, what's the NOI? Within a second, I using my calculator or my cell phone, I punch in the number with the cap rate, automatically you'll be shown this value of the property. Residential need to compare. Okay, what's the next door? How many square footage? And the this and that, a little bit, what's the school district? Or go to the neighborhood shopping center is all important. It's all elements. But for commercial, it's so crucial. Only NOI will be reflect your value. Remember, if you with an NOI number, you can play with that. So what's the NOI? If you never do some math, but for this time, please, you have to do your math. Then people thinking you're professional, okay? Because cap rate is not applied to the residential. It's a totally different ballgame to play different animal. So the commercial, if you don't talk about NOI, what are you going to talk about? No, nothing, please. So the NOI, you should remember, capitalization rate is your income and your value. For example, property for sale, $20 million. Okay, house maybe $2 million. Residential easy to be 10, 20. Like last year, I've been helping my partners, my project partners to evaluate. The total is $150 million for the 3 part of the apartment. They closed the deal. So they are so happy. So we have to figure out what's the cap rate first. So we're taking the numbers, how much they try to sell. Okay, and so we have to take what's their cap rate and how much they're asking, the price. So we divide by that, we come up with a 6%. So your cap rate is a 6%. Remember, seller want to sell lower cap rate. If the 6, they willing to sell this 5 or 6, 5 or 4, 7. The last year, I helping my partners to close the $150 million deal. Can you imagine the apartment, the cap rate is only between the 3 to 4%. 3 to 4%. They still want it, okay, because they are safe, they can inherit, pass to their kid, and anti-inflation a little bit, and they have some upside. They can increase the rent. Okay, so now everybody, if you don't understand NOI, please, that's the first step. That's very entry level. So for somebody want to do from the residential to the commercial, and people ask me, what's the lease? What's the rent? Okay, very easy to remember. Lease is a contract, rent is a payment. Okay, you don't say, hey, what's the rent? Okay, can I rent the property or am I lease the property? Lease the property is when you sign the contract. Then the tenant can access to the property, say you're legally. But the rent, that means the money you pay. Okay, so we can call rental property. We don't say the lease property. Yeah, you say I lease this one because I pay the rent. The rent is the money, lease is that. Yeah, it's confused, that's fine, but at least you got a professional, you got to know who paying the rent, who signed the lease. Next one. Now this one, you try to remember, okay, besides the NOI. When you're dealing with a commercial, when you buy, you have to lease out or rent out. Not only you keep that, unless you got the tenant stay there forever. That's almost, I don't say impossible, maybe. So you have to know what kind of type of the lease and the rent, the basis, and often to use in what kind of business. For example, percentage rent. You got to confuse what's percentage. So that means when you're making more money, you got to pay a little bit more. Okay, for the retail and the mall. And net lease, I'm saying the net lease. That means people paying everything, right? Tax, utility, maintenance, insurance. So that's one what we really like it. Triple net. Okay, that's what we really like it. If we are the landlord, we prefer to get a tenant to pay everything. But every category is different. I will be divided to the different, like office will be a little bit different. Now, you have to remember those words. Double net lease. You pay the rent, the tax, and the insurance, but the common area, you have to pay separately. So they will be a little bit different. Triple net lease or full service lease. So that means for the office, you pay tenant, they don't pay nothing. And the landlord, they pay everything. Okay, or modified lease, grow lease, they have the different legal terminology. You have to try to remember. If you don't know, Google it, to read it, to understand, keep it in your mind. Okay, you cannot just open the book or take a note to read in front of the buyer or seller. It's not professional. It's come out from your mouth automatically, spontaneously, just like you know that almost from beginning. You know that like your old friends. Those are numbers, names, the terms, terminologies. Please, you got to remember, talk out, okay? The next one. Why we say mixed use? Because for the upside, you remember the commercial, especially for the shopping centers, it's getting what we call destination. People want to in and out, come and go, just buy something out. But if they are willing to spend a little bit more time, they have to do shopping, entertain, and eating. So if the mixed use, why say mixed? Okay, mixed should be underground. It's what we call commercial. Above will be the residential, like in Asia. It's so common. It's so common. So for example, that's our in LA County, our project. We got 72 acres, big project. So we got a tenant, Walmart, Winco, Starbucks, Subway, you name it, Bank of America, they come in. But we need to build something people can live in. They're friends. They cannot live in their house. They come to visiting, for training. So we have our hotel. So we got a hotel site, we got apartment. even with a gym. So that's what we call the mixed use. So you have to find something for the future, the shopping center value added, or we call the upside. It has to be shopping center with a residential called the mixed use. So when the buyer not only looking into the shopping center, to looking into the future, maybe few years down the road, please check with the county, city, city, planning department, how high do you can go? And how many units you can go? And what kind of parking ratio? Parking ratio is very, very primary in our commercial real estate. Parking ratio is if you want to develop something or buy shopping center or office, anything, you have to see how many parking you have. If you go subterranean, if you go underground, if you go basement, underground parking, it's more expensive than on the surface or the parking structure. Parking structure and underground almost double the price. But like in the metropolitan CBD, downtown area, the land is very expensive. You cannot just do parking structure or do on the surface parking. You have to underground. You are paying for that. And the building material is extremely high right now. So gotta be aware of that. Okay. So now we come to the office. Office, kind of like what we call, it's not a necessity right now because people work from home. And they just, at home, they can do everything during the pandemic. So, but the office, you have to remember, some company like the government institution, like release to the Social Security, immigration, to the welfare center, we build to suit, they sign a contract, we built. They still need it. They might expand it. But you have to know what's the office. If you're saying the seller side or buyer side, the broker say, hey, are you class A or class B or class C? You say, I don't know. Oh, what the heck? You have to understand. Class A, that's good. Very good. Class B, fine, good. Class C, fair, with 20 years. Good location, great location. And the finish, interior, whatever. And with the highest rent, class A automatically. You have to remember, people ask you, they might can apply to the, mostly in the office, but some apartments, some industrial, yes, in general, they're using in the office building, okay, ABC. If you don't understand ABC, that means you are not in business, unfortunately. And how about the type of the lease? Say again, in the office building, they got gross lease, modified lease, full service lease, net lease. Then you got looking into the railroad, NOI again, cap rate again. If buyer side ask you, you are the listing, they were asking what kind of type of gross lease or the modified lease. Modified, this means somebody paid this, somebody paid that. Full service, you landlord pay everything. Net lease, no pay nothing. And railroad, I'm saying same as the shopping centers. So always remember, any kind of business all involved with those, then NOI. You minus all the expenses. Now you figure out what's cap rate. So you can thinking when the seller say, oh, you will say too high. When you are the buyer side or the seller side, you have to understand that. That's all very basic for office. Let's come to another one, apartment. For us, we prefer apartment. Bank like to lend you the money. They like to take out loan. They like to refinance. But unfortunately, the most safe case won't create high return. Only play safe return is apartments because people need to live in. When the house price drop or house price increase, interest increase, you cannot get a loan. You have to move to the apartment. So we very like apartment. So we build like 1,000 apartments already. Rental apartment. We don't sell that. We don't sell that. But you got to create good atmosphere. Like what do we call? You have to accommodate people live in very comfortable. When you go see to buy apartment complex for your investor, because they want some safer project, or you're dealing with a seller, you have to know what's their atmosphere, their amenities. You have to know. Like we built, we are gated, we got clubhouse, and we got entertainment center, we got fitness, and we have to do lots of consideration. If you want a little bit more price, you have to do luxury apartment, even with the, what we call the dryer and washer. Include that, even have the pets, the park. So when you go there to see apartment, not a rental, maybe people wanted to buy everything over 5 units is a commercial. 5 units, no matter condo or apartment. 4 units, we still say residential. Okay, 5 units is a commercial. Okay, if you don't say, hey, you got a few apartments, then you say, hey, you are commercial property. No, you got to need 5 and above. 5 and above. So apartment for us, like if you back to the 2 years when I mentioned this one, I still say very safe, and plus warehouse. Now, what do you need to know? Same thing, okay? Type of the gross modified list, same thing. You see all the same. If you want to do any kind of commercial, please remember those final cap rate. Cap rate will be decided buyer and the seller wanted to buy, willing to sell, okay? Oh, they might combine with assisted living. Why is it called assisted living? People ask. They got skilled nursing, senior, active senior, and the memory care. There are so many. So how do you know that I need assisted living, right? You have to at least without the injury or prepare for the meal to cook, and getting harder, and you notice a sign and the nutrition needs. So those people, they do need assisted living. Assisted living and apartment is a different. Assisted living, they call assist. So some you require for the nurse, RN, LVN, or doctor on site. Okay. So that's combined with a multifamily and the medical service. They with the 24 hours, emergency, personal care, housekeeping, and the transportation. Okay, that's all include that, especially with Alzheimer and dementia or disabilities, Parkinson's stuff. So that's we combine with the multifamily because they are not only 1 units, they're at least 5 units or more. Okay, now we come to the industrial. That's incredible, amazing price increase for past few years, double or triple. But right now it's very high price. But when you wanted to own or occupy, you still can go for it. It's okay, that's fine. If you're a buyer wanted to buy, own or use, but if you are buying just for investment, I'm not really encouraged. Because right now the price, because of building material cost for those industrial, what do we call industrial? Manufacturers, plants, fabrications, assembling plant, distribution warehouse, private public warehouse, flex space like office, research and development, showrooms, warehousing, data centers. That's what we call foreign buyers. They really like to buy industrial. But say again, it's not that good timing. But if they the owner use, go ahead, no question asked, because you need it. But you still be aware. You have to know to show you are professional when you're talking to seller or buyer, asking how high. Because right now the new warehouse, at least 25 feet up to 35, like 32, that's clear height, ceiling height. You have to know that because they got a container, they got pallet, so they have like a double deck, triple deck. They can stack on that to save the space. A loading dock. People say, what's a loading dock? Okay, the rule of the thumb. The probably 10,000, each 10,000 square feet, you need a 1 loading dock. Okay, it's not exactly, but just saying, if they got a 50,000 square feet warehouse, they at least they need a 5 loading dock, ground height, container height, whatsoever. Just they can have the door open, let the shipping come in or ship out. Okay, and the volt, electricity, 208, 240, 480, and 600. Some require higher, some require the lower. So you got to keep those in your mind. Or the office building, they all might combine anywhere from 10 to 15% will be suitable for the office. Okay, if you got more than that, electricity, air conditioning is more. Some city is very limited. You cannot do too much office within that. Another again, right? Cap rate. Here we go. Another cap rate. Okay. Let's go to the hotel. Hotel is a different. It's hospitality. It's a business. It's a real estate. You have to know who owns that. What's the name brand? If you don't even know that, oh, Sheraton. Oh, it's a Hyatt. Sheraton, Ritz-Carlton. Oh, it's Intercontinental. It's a Hilton. No, it's wrong. They got a name brand. You got flags. Marriott. They have the Ritz-Carlton, W Hotel, St. Regis, Westin, Le Méridien, Renaissance, Intercontinental, got Holiday Inn, Crown Plaza, right? That's all different. Hilton, Waldorf, Australia, Waldorf, Curio, Hyatt, Park, Grand Hyatt, Hyatt Regency, Thompson, and you got Limited Hotel. This is what called a motel. It's a different. Full service, they have the like a lunch, dinner, breakfast, and the banquet room, swimming pool with everything. Top of the line. They call the full service. In Asia, they might call 5-star, something like that. And the motel is a different. So when you're dealing with the hospitality business, you have to know who's whose kind of category, what kind of level is the hotel level and the management team. So that's one you have to remember. Secondly, they in between the full service and limited service. They go select service. Holiday Inn Select, right? Hilton Garden Inn, Indigo, Ramada, Wyndham, Clarion, Canberra, or the Hyatt Place and the house. That's what we built. We've been built a Hyatt Place, and we have another Hyatt Place, and we've been work with another the partners and the joint venture for the Le Méridien, like a Marriott. So you have to remember those. If you don't even know what's kind of I don't say degree, the level of that. How do you deal with a hotel? People say, hey, buy me a hotel. What are you going to talk to the seller? How do you deal with the buyer? And the most important part will become to the same thing. You need to remember this when you prepare the proposal to the buyer or to the seller. You have to know what's the occupancy rate. How many people they can occupy in this hotel? And what's the ADR? You say, I don't know what's the ADR. You are not in this business. Average daily rates. So that's mean they post on the market $100 a night. I mean, $200 a night. It all depends. Now come to the very professional way. What's the RevPAR? Revenue of the per available room for the whole year. So every room, they can generate how much money in order to calculate how much worth of this hospitality project. Okay, so the occupancy rates, average daily rates, RevPAR. If you are the residential agent, you want to deal with the commercial one, you can just check. But unfortunately, hospitality hotel is not really on the market. They are in between the capital market or not on list, off market, pocket deal. And they are not like a regular business, buyer pay commission, seller pay commission. Sometimes you need to pay, buyer pay buyer's consultant fee, anywhere from the 1 to 2 to 3%, commonly 2%. They need to negotiate with the seller. If you're over $50 million, $100 million project, they need to have the like a legal department to consult how to deal with that, how to back and forth. If like a regular residential agent or commercial agent, when you send LOI, they don't care. They don't even look at that because you don't know. It was approval of the fund. How do you know the hotel business? You're only talking, you don't know. Then you have to do the small one, like a 5 million, 10 million, the most. When they're dealing with a major market, with the capital market, remember, some buyer have to pay consultant fee to buyer's agent or consultant company. Full service with a 3 mil, 4 to 5 star. Limited service, breakfast only, 2 to 3 star. It's very easy to define that. Let's come to the last part, the land. That's very challenging, okay? Because in the Asian mentality, especially Chinese, you own the land, you own everything. You own the wealth, you own the, you probably have, no, it's not, okay? For us, the land is the most difficult, challenging part, okay? That's my last part. The land, when you receive a land, say, hey, I want to buy a land. Please locate a land for me. Or I have a land to sell. What your agent to do? You don't even know the zoning, even know the EIR, you don't know the tract map, tentative map. What you can claim? You are the agent can handle this case. No way. Okay. For us, the red lights, the red word emphasize infrastructure and the utility. We made a mistake 30 years ago, 20 years ago. We just land as big as enough. We just get it. Unfortunately, it's not enough for the infrastructure. You have to pay the money first to build that road, to do the infrastructure, water, electricity, and the gas, utilities. So don't be too excited when you purchase a land or develop the land. That's most difficult. You see nothing, just like a vacant, raw land. So you have to know what's the zoning. Zoning, they have like industrial, they have the like agriculture, they have the commercial, different zoning. How do you check that? Website, you can find it. General plan, specific plan. Again, go to the city and the county to find it out. If you don't homework, commercial agent, if you don't do the homework, you cannot be qualified. Okay, so you can't. EIR, the other one is very tough to deal with environmental impact report, especially CEQA in California. Very tough. Every agency will be limited. So every EIR, you might take you 2, 3, 5 years to get an EIR, zoning EIR. Then you start to the subdivision map. How many units you can build, how high you can build, and draw the map and draw the construction drawing. And if you're not, you can do the general plan amendment, conditional use permit for the coastal. Okay, if you do along the coastal side with the ocean front, river front, they have a different agency to involve. And last one, historical and the cultural landmark. Don't touch it. So tough. Like Indian reserve, or not Indian reserve, but they found anything like their ancestor, their people left over. That's called a cultural landmark. Historical, you cannot change the facade. You have to keep original looking in front. Okay, so you cannot touch that. So the land, when you buy the land, deal with the land, that will be the category you have to be aware of. Very different, very tough. Okay. So the tract map, just very quick. Okay, I have a limited time to do that. Try to set it. I can talk a week about this, but I cannot. So you remember a few words, very important. Subdivision, that's the very first step. If the plan without the subdivision, we say it's not entitled. It's a raw land. So when you're buying that, you have to be aware of that. You cannot do construction, you can do nothing. So tract map subdivision, remember that. Secondly, you go to the final map before you do, to build that. So 2 words, you have to understand that. That means you're a professional. Hey, yeah, what kind of land is that? With entitlement, tract map, or final map? They say, okay, you are in business. Now we can talk. And the last one, the permit. Everything in the US, especially the city planning department, you have to apply all kinds of permit. Even though you have all kinds of permit, you have to aware of the public hearing. Say again, public hearing around the neighborhood. If they against you that, then you got a problem. So every project got a pro and a con, good and the bad, advantage and disadvantage. How do you see that? It's really leave to the people live around you called a public hearing. Although city and the county agree, you still have to like a step away. All right. So you are the agent, you have to watch out this and telling the buyer or the seller say, hey, we have to disclose and let them understand. They say you are honest. And you can explore more detailedly, then you will be the one they're going to trust. Okay, so I think I have to conclude that. And 1 hour is very short, but I have to cover everything. And you have to remember those are legal terminology and the numbers you don't need to play right now because it's a little bit difficult to understand. like what we call the report, pro forma, IRR rates, but at least you know what's the NOI, how to evaluate, how to calculate. That will bring you the first step. So your entry key, you got it. Then leave to your in-house brokers you work with, not an agent with experience. Don't be, too concerned with sharing your, what do we call, maybe commission or finder's fee, then with some experienced brokers. Just ask them, be your mentor, to talk with them. They work with you, because nobody want to waste time. I have to sorry to say that. So they don't mean they don't like you. The mainstream broker, the agent, they got a team, 5 or 6 people in the team. They split the half and half, like CBRE I've been working with, the Cushman and Wicksfield, NAI, right? They got a team. They only get a half, but companies support them. They got a great deal. They do lots of listing. So that's commercial real estate. So agents, you have to remember that, all right? Sorry, I have a little bit overtime. How's the Cecilia, Jenny, are fun? Any question you guys want to ask? I'm willing to answer that.
Yes, we do. But first of all, thanks so much, Howard, for all your valuable and knowledgeable information. What I can say, your presentation is to be continued in the near future. Okay. Okay.
Yes. Next time I will do question and answer. I don't say, because right now, even now, I know people have bundle of the question, but face it, that's commercial. I cannot overnight or the 1 minute. For me, in the college, I taught this one for the 1 semester. Even cannot finish this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Here is the question.
Yes.
What's the difference between NOI and net lease?
Okay. NOI and the net lease is a little bit different. NOI is you minus all the expenses. Okay, not including the debts. That's mean you're paying to the bank. Okay, remember, NOI, that's mean your operating costs. Net lease is a tenant pay to the landlord. Okay, or they say net, triple net, single net, double net. That's a different wording. You have to Google that. That's a 2 different way. I cannot say compare. That's a different. NOI is a calculate the value. Net lease, that's mean who paid this, who paid that. Insurance, common area, the maintenance fee, utilities fee. Okay, that's tough to say in one word.
Okay.
Different.
Sorry. The second question. What is the cap for today's market to buy or sell in general?
Okay, that one, I don't think they are lacking the asking experience or the knowledge. You have to separate the category. Like people ask me, what do you like to eat? Say everything.
Right.
Give me the French, Italian, Japanese, right? At least I can show you the direction. Okay, make it short. Long story short, what's kind of category? Office, different. Okay. Warehouse is all different. Apartment, but you got to depend where you are. Okay, where, how you calculate. Let's for example, very quick. Okay, now if we have time for another 5-10 minutes, 5 minutes. Yeah, I will answer this. I know people curious. In Southern California, I don't say too far out of state. No, let's say concentrate back to Southern California. The rule of thumb or average shopping centers cap rate 5 to 6%. Okay, 5 to 6% shopping centers. Office pretty much around there, 5 to 6%. If you go to the what we call the apartment, 3 to 5%. 3 to 5% for apartments, but that has to be depend on the area, suburb, urban, and good area. If you're talking about the Malibu, Beverly Hills to the Inland Empire, that's a 2 different way. Okay, so it's a too much difference. It will depend on the bank, how much money they want to lend to you. That's most I have to telling the agent. If you take the project, go to the bank. If they are willing to lend you the money, there must be very good project. No matter it's a 50%, 80%, loan to the value, got good project, but it's not profitable project because the bank people play safe. They are square. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to test your project good or bad, go to the bank. Ask your friends in the bank. They will let you know how much money you will get it. Then it will be indirectly let you understand your project is okay or so-so, or bad or good. Okay. So again, warehouse is very different. Warehouse, if owner occupied, anywhere you have to pay. I don't say cap rate. Yeah, you can say cap rate. We say per square foot. Okay. Anywhere from the $300 to $500 per square foot for warehouse. Why? Our cost, I just received a quote this weekend. A client of us, we don't build. We got construction company to quote 50,000 square feet of warehouse, close to $200. You know, when we started this business 20 years ago, 25 years ago, $45 per square foot. Now it's a totally different. So people saying, hey, I got a warehouse for sale for $350, $400. Your cost, not including land, is almost equal to $200. Sometimes a hard cost. Soft cost doesn't mean engineering, drawing, the plan check whatsoever. Hard cost, that's mean it is sell, hard cost, building material, hard cost. And the hospitality is a different. They don't say cap rate. You can say cap rate, but they are using their NOI, the multiplier. They can have the times the 10, 12, 13, and that's another field. They need to spend so much time to understand, but basically just saying, maybe you can use in a cap rate, same thing. It may be around like a 3, 4, 5%, okay? And the land is no cap rate. Land, you have to know what you're going to use or do some comparison utilities. So I don't know, roughly answer the question yet?
Yeah.
We can touch a little bit. You got more specific, it's not easy. The cap rate is depend on the timing, when, where, okay?
Mhm.
Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Howard. One more time, we hope to see you very soon in the near future. And thanks for all the information, your presentation. Thank you.
No problem.
Yes.
Or they can email to you guys and then you can forward to me so I can, and I can answer that, then you can post that. Let the people to know how to do the commercial real estate. Believe me, it's not easy, but it's worth it.
Yes.
Okay, never too late to get into this business. Sometimes it's fun. Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a very, very difficult way to deal with that. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you again.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Okay. You guys have a very good afternoon and the weekend. Though. We are over the hump. Not Wednesday. Oh, it's only Tuesday. Gosh, okay.
Right.
There we go. All right, you guys take care. Okay.
Thanks to Howard. Thanks to YK America.
Appreciate it. Yes, no problem. Yeah, I got the numbers. And if you have question, you can call my office and my assistant will be taking your numbers and tell me what's your question and what you wanted to do. And we've been work with the agent and we've been work with the developers or landowners. We can do together. All right, and you guys make a commission. Okay. All right. Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, very good.
Jenny.
Thank you so much.
Jenny.
Yes.
Jenny.
On
Yes,
behalf
go
of
ahead.
the West San Gabriel Realtors Association, we want to thank Howard for your wonderful presentation. Anybody has any other questions, please feel free to contact him directly. And one last thing I'd like to remind everyone is to please check out our education classes on our website. We have a few more sessions in August, pre-listing inspection, and also the green designation. So please go to our website and register online. Thank you again, and everyone have a good one. Bye.
All right. Yes.
Bye.
Thank you. Please.
Thank you, Howard.
Healthy.
Bye.
Yes. Okay. Good now.